Welcome back to Decent Garage, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. So for today's video, we're going to be working on something a little bit different. All I've been working on so far are the trucks, but like I said, we're going to be expanding a little bit, working on different projects now. We'll still work on the trucks. I still have plenty to do, but for right now, it's nice outside. I've been doing a lot of dirt biking, and I've got some things I want to do to my dirt bike. So we're going to do a little upgrade on the dirt bike today. So let me show you what we're going to do. I bought this a little over 2 years ago, and some might say I stole it. I got an amazing deal on it. I paid 650 bucks for it. The guy couldn't get it to run, so he was trying to rebuild the carb, couldn't get it to start back up, and so he sold it for cheap. So I brought it home, tore it apart, tore into the carb, and I don't have experience with these, but I was able to figure out that there was an O-ring and a washer on one of the jets that was flipped. I flipped them back, put it back together, and it runs like a dream. So what we're going to be doing today, I'm going to see if you guys can see this. It's not super noticeable, but the handlebars are slightly bent. So I'm guessing he dropped it at some point and it bent the bars. So here's what we're going to be installing. I've got a new set of handlebars. I've got new grips, and I've got new bark busters or wraparound hand guards. So we're going to be installing those. I've got the glue for the grips. I've got this tool to make a clean cut on the end of the grips because I didn't want to buy brand new grips and have to hack off the end and make it look kind of rough like these right here that are already on here. You know, it just looks ugly when you have to just hack that off. So we're going to be taking these off. These work, but I don't really like the look of them, and because the handlebars are bent, they don't sit on there quite straight. One's a little higher on one side than the other. So what we're going to do first is take everything off. So that's going to involve taking these hand guards off, cutting the old grips off, taking the clutch lever off, the kill switch, and then jump over here, this hand guard, the throttle tube, the brake cylinder, and that should be all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we will go from there. So the first thing we're going to do is remove these hand guards by taking off the mount at the end of the handlebar and the 2 Allen screws at the end of the mount inside the handlebar. Next, we're going to loosen the clutch lever with these 2 Phillip head screws. And finally, we'll take the kill switch off with a Phillips head screw on the bottom of the kill switch. On this side, we'll do the same thing and take this handguard off. We'll take the brake cylinder off, and that's held on by 2 hex bolts. And then we will loosen the throttle tube and slide that off and replace the grip on that as well. Alright, so we have everything disconnected from the bars. Now we just need to undo the bolts that hold the handlebar mount, and it's a 12mm bolt. So we'll take all 4 of those off, and then the handlebars will come right off. Alright, so here's the old bar, and you can see pretty well how bent that is there, all the way out into the handles. So this was overdue. So we are going to follow the same process in reverse to install the new bars, but I'll slow down a little bit as we install the grips and show you how to do that, as well as the hand guards. But should be a pretty easy process. This is easier than redoing the front end on a first gen 2-wheel drive, so I'm happy about this project. Okay, we've got the new handlebar on. It's all ready to go. We're just gonna reassemble everything how we had it. I left the handlebar mounts a little loose so I can adjust them as I need. But we'll start with the clutch lever, move to the kill switch, then move over to the other side and put the brake lever with the master cylinder on it, as well as the throttle tube. So you'll notice the old grip is still on the throttle tube. In order to take that off, you can either try pulling it off and see if it'll come off, or you can carefully use a box cutter or razor blade and cut through it and tear it off. Be careful though, because you don't want to cut into your throttle tube. So before we glue the new grips on, we have to take these little end caps off the handlebars. And this is only because we're running the full wrap handguards. If you're not running full wrap handguards, you can leave those in there. Alright, so we are ready to put the new grips on. So here are the grips I'm going to be using. Now for anyone who's new to doing this, which includes me, you'll notice the diameter is a little bit different on each grip. So the smaller diameter is for the clutch side, the larger diameter is for the throttle tube side. So one thing to be aware of when you're putting the grip on the throttle tube, you got to be very careful with how much glue you use. If you use too much glue and it oozes out under the throttle tube, it's going to stick. So if that happens, what you may have to do is loosen the throttle tube, keep the grip on there, loosen the throttle tube, pull it off, clean everything off of there, clean inside while leaving the grip on it. And then once the glue dries, you can throw the throttle tube back on. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab the end bolt, thread it through to the piece that goes in the handlebar, and make sure to put the nut on the end. Once you have that all set together, stick that in the handlebar, and you may need to give it a couple gentle taps with a hammer. Screw that in, but do not tighten it all the way. Now grab the clamps that go further down the handlebars. There are a couple sets of adapters for different size handlebars. You'll notice that I use the thickest adapters for my 7/8 inch handlebars. Attach the brackets and loosely tighten the bolts. Now line both ends of the handguards up and mount the end into the bracket on the handlebars. Once you have the handguards positioned exactly how you want them, tighten down all the bolts. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was not a difficult install, but the guards didn't come with any instructions. That's why I did one side first and then did the other side and showed you guys that. So let me show you the finished product. There it is, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. The next video will probably actually be a riding video, taking the bike out and doing some riding. up in the mountains behind the house that everyone comments on in my videos. So we'll do that probably in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like the video if you haven't yet. Comment below if you have any comments or questions, and we'll see you guys in the next video.